And we're live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. What is going on? I am in the shed and I am hot. The power went out. The AC was off for hours and it's like 100 degrees in here. So if I look kind of grumpy, that might be why.
Happy
Thank
4th
you
of
guys.
July.
Happy 4th of July. Thank
There you
you.
go.
Yes,
Happy
like what's a holidays are not the same when you work for yourself. I hate to say it, but you know, it used to be like, oh yes, I'm getting paid for 4th of July, and now it's like, oh, I gotta work. I am joined by my co-host Rod, picking and punching, as well as Angie resells below me, and Segun. I'm a resell it catty corner to me. So I really, really appreciate everybody being here with me tonight. And before we get started, I want to give a special thanks out to Yvonne Thrifty Rich for running the show for me last week while I was in Phoenix, along with Dom Primetime Treasure Hunter, Jocelyn Crazy Lamp Lady, and Lindy Glenn. So special thanks to those four for holding the fort down for us while we were not able to be on with you guys. We really appreciate them. And I don't know if he's here or not. I'll say it again if he comes later. My good friend Scott Cha-Ching King hit 30,000 subscribers. So I want to say a big congrats to Scott. We got Scott to 1,000 subscribers here on the show live. So super exciting for me to see him hit 30,000. Like super, super exciting. So I'm going to make Angie big, and then we'll make Segun big and let them introduce themselves to you guys. And then we'll get to the questions. Get them in early. We have some already in the K, but get them in early so you'll make sure it gets answered. And here is, whoa, what was that?
That was me. I'm sorry.
We have a poltergeist. Here is Angie, guys.
Hey everyone, happy 4th of July. Super excited to be here. Just wanted to say thank you to Kat for bringing me on again. I am Angie Resells. I am a full-time eBay reseller, well, reseller in general, but I've been doing eBay for over 25 years, which seems crazy. But I support my family 100% doing reselling and content creation. I also am one half of the Let's Do Lunch podcast with Kristen a Rural Squirrel. We have that podcast every single Friday at noon Central Time. And it's just a chat about reselling from the female perspective. But of course, all the guys are welcome. And thank you for having me on. I'm super excited to be here.
Perfect. Here's Segun.
Hey guys, my name is Segun, also known as immaresellit. I mainly sell used electronics and toys. I sell full-time on eBay. I do travel a lot, so I have a lot of sourcing videos of me going out, buying stuff in other countries and around the US. So right now I'm in Vegas, but I live in Chicago. And yeah, it's nice meeting you guys. Hopefully you have a nice 4th of July so far. Thanks for coming out. And Kat, thanks for having me on, inviting me on.
You are welcome. And thank you guys if you're missing fireworks to be here with us. I am missing fireworks to be here with us. And I love fireworks, but I don't think that Tuesday falls on 4th of July or vice versa very often. So let's see. Ruby May said she's noticed that first class £1 costs the same as priority, but she heard Scott Cha-Ching King. I'm repping his merch tonight. Said the post office will soon be doing away with first class.
Yes, that is true. As of July 8th, first class and parcel select will become ground advantage. You're right about some first class almost as much as priority because they did do a discount for up to £6 in zones 1 through 4, which can cost as low as $7.15. So it's maybe about 20 cents different for the first class. I do know that we'll see an increase of about 5% when it becomes ground advantage.
Perfect. I think Angie answered it for all of us. And
sorry.
And I asked her before we. No. I'm glad because you knew I would not have been able to say that. All right. Miss Pam would like opinions on promoting and if you think promoting is necessary to have sales and if you do, why?
Start with me again.
It's
Okay,
all about you, Angie.
I know.
Oh, you're in the hot seat. You're first every time.
Yeah. Okay, so for me personally, I promote. I think I'm on the same page kind of as Kat. I usually do promoting a couple % more than required. Is it required to have sales? It depends on your category as far as I can think. If you have one-off items that there's not a lot of competition, you may not need promoted. But if you're selling clothing, you better be up pretty high because there's so much competition that you want your listing to be seen, and that's the best way.
So for promoted listings, I normally wait at least 24 to 48 hours before I start promoting it to see if it can just sell organically. And kind of like what Angie said, I do sell a lot of like old vintage stuff. So I might be one or two or three of the current listings. So in that case, I'm not going to promote it because I just have very little competition. But I think it does help sales. I normally do 1 to 2%.
So I promote about 95% of all my listings, unless it's just like a one-off, just like what they just said there. But the biggest thing here is, why wouldn't you want to use it? I mean, if it's going to help benefit you, help push you above your competition, it makes complete sense to use that. eBay is running anywhere from 13 to 15% in fees, which is about 5% less than most other platforms out there. So if you're not taking advantage of this right now, you're leaving money on the table and you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, so I think anybody that's watched me for a while knows I promote everything and I promote high. That's because I'm going more for volume and I'm okay paying the extra fees because I source really, really low. I typically source at about 10% of what I sell at. I promote at trending plus 3% and I cap it at 12. So the most I would pay is 12%. And like Rod said, like Poshmark fees are 20%. So if I'm at 10 to 12 on eBay, even promoting at 8%, I'm still equal to those Poshmark fees. And it doesn't all sell promoted. It doesn't all sell promoted. You can have a promoted listing and it'll still sell organically. For me, it's a nurse thing. And I don't like seeing you have 200 listings you could promote. I just want that gone off my bar. So bad reason. Yeah, our sales are probably about 60% sell promoted. So it used to be about 50. Now it's a little bit higher. And I know I will tell you, if you are promoting, do not drop it completely or drastically because eBay does not like that. And you will feel the rash of the algorithm, like really, really bad. So just be careful. If you have it on, slowly lower it. If you want it off, do not just turn it off. That is not a good idea. I learned that the hard way, unfortunately.
Same.
Yeah, if you go from 10 to 0, your sales will go right down to 0 with it. So yeah, be careful about that. Miss Sue wants to know, and I think we've had this discussion, it's been a while. Have you ever sold just one shoe? I won an auction for a pair of shoes, but they were 2 different sizes.
I have never sold intentionally a pair that were 2 different sizes. However, at the bins, I have picked up a pair of shoes that I thought were the same size, same shoes. And one time they were both left shoes and one time they were 2 completely different sizes. So, usually just give them the benefit of the doubt and hopefully they'll just take the return. And I just didn't know. But they wrap them up with those, the rubber bands and, a smart reseller would check that out. But I've been known to be caught with that.
I've never just sold one shoe before, and I've been reselling for 3 years, and I've probably only sold 5 pairs of shoes. But I know there is an audience out there that will buy just one shoe. It might have got damaged, and they're looking for a replacement. It's going to sell slow, or someone who is missing a limb, and they just want that one shoe in that one size. So, yeah, it will sell. It's going to sell slow.
I feel like this question is a setup here because for those who've been watching the channel know that I've been trying to sell this one giant big shoe for the longest time, all right? So who wants a giant UGG? I have one for sale. It's 33 inches tall, so go to my eBay store. I'll give you a great deal on it, but now I haven't. This is the only time I've ever listed just one shoe, and it's the store display, so.
Yeah, and Marcia said it, and Shagan already said it. An amputee is probably going to be your main audience if you're selling that, and they are out there. There are quite a few of them. So if it was like a really, really good brand, I would probably still list it. Now, if it was just like a common everyday thing, look, Gino says he'll buy your shoe.
There you go.
Gino, go buy Rod's shoe. Oh, I didn't upload Rod's super chat. Gino, I need to make a list.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He sent that one over.
I need a list. Yeah. Gino made us a Rod super chat, and I totally forgot to upload it.
Another thing, too, Kat, my dad broke his ankle, not his ankle, his heel a long time ago. So when he buys pairs of shoes, he actually has to buy 2 pairs of shoes because anyone who ever breaks their ankle, sometimes you get a little additional bump on the end of your foot. So that people actually have to buy 1 pair of shoes for 1 shoe and then another pair of shoes half a size bigger because if they broke their heel, sometimes it adds a little bump on the end. Very interesting. I know it's weird, but
yeah, but they might want that one other shoe.
Yeah, sure.
True.
Yeah, possibly. Miss Rose says, how would you handle a buyer who is being difficult prior to sending the item out? Have you ever decided to cancel due to their difficult behavior, like criticizing the shipping rate, etc.?
Usually I have those issues before a sale happens, and I haven't been known to block people if they just are asking too many questions, because ultimately usually those are the worst ones. But, honestly, your shipping rate is listed on the auction or your listing. So I would just send a message that says, unfortunately, that is what shipping costs. If they pay, ship the item, because it's clearly written in there what your shipping rate is. And, that's just kind of what I would do. Unfortunately, people like to grumble. We all know shipping costs a lot.
Even though that customer, they might be being a headache, you have to stay professional and you got to provide good customer service. So I feel like a lot of times I have issues when an item is going to Puerto Rico or Hawaii, and the shipping that I charge them is a lot less than what is the cost is a lot less than what it's actually going to be. So, I do ask the buyer, are they willing to pay that difference? And if they're not willing to pay that difference, then I'll tell them I can cancel the order, and then I'll hit the option as the buyer, requested to cancel, or maybe there's an issue with the shipping issue.
Yeah, usually when that happens, if a buyer is being difficult prior to shipping out, I'll give them the option to cancel if they're unhappy with it. Give the buyer the option at that point in time. Let them make the decision. Just let them know that, like he just said, you got to be professional. I always let the buyer know that I use calculated shipping. I don't, make the shipping rates. It's based off my location, their location. Unfortunately, you may have overlooked that. So if that's an issue, I have no problem canceling and relisting the item for you. But I like to give them that option. Just let me know what you want me to do prior to sending this out. And, you go that route. The worst is, though, when people give you negative feedback or something like that after you've already shipped it out and they don't reach out to you, they don't contact you or anything like that. So, those are the one-offs that you get sometimes. But, people just don't understand, like, shipping prices go up every 6 months. The post office runs on a deficit, unfortunately. And, we just have to deal with this. Nothing else we can do. You just got to adjust accordingly.
Yeah, so for me, if they've paid, I'm gonna ship it. And you guys know I don't tolerate much. I have a very short string as far as that goes. But if they have paid, I'm going to ship it. I actually got a negative feedback because I didn't send them a $5 overage, and I told them I would, and it didn't go through. Like eBay's processing sometimes on your phone for refunds won't go through. And I didn't realize it, and they left me negative before messaging me and giving me a chance to do it again. But they did revise it, and I was upset because I had just got 100% back, and I haven't had 100% for years. But they did revise it, so I'm back to 100%. But I would not cancel them over that. I respond like everybody else said. I'm kind of blunt about it and say, look, this is the shipping rates. It really has increased this year. I don't make money on shipping. I don't charge a handling fee. So a lot of times I'll be like, well, maybe you're in California or Washington State and I'm in Florida and it's calculated from zip code to zip code. And a lot of them are like, oh yeah, I'm in California. So, and I will tell them, and not being mean, you know, perhaps you can find the same item from somebody closer to you, so shipping is cheaper. Now, if, like the case with a lot of my items, I'm the only one with it, you're not going to have a choice. You know, you're going to pay the shipping, and it is what it is. But yeah, we have a pillow fight. Miss Barbara is a pillow fight fan as well. So if you guys send super chats and there's one particular you like, put it just like she did, and I will give it to you. So, Miss Susan, here is your pillow fight. And many of you met Brooke at the Phoenix camp listing party. So my daughter, who is part of that pillow fight, was with me in Phoenix. We got another super chat, $5 super chat from One Way Vintage, who we also met in Phoenix. We met a lot of people, Rod. We met a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah. So One Way Vintage, Miss Julie said, amazing meeting you, Rod and Segun. Can you remind me what you said about your preference for USP ground economy versus retail ground? So I have been probably for about 6 months now, instead of choosing priority, I will choose USPS retail ground because it charges the customer a little bit less than priority, but it 99% of the time covers priority. So it's almost like a middle discount, like they get a little bit off, but it still covers it plus enough for the fees for me. So I'm kind of passing the discount on. But if you do USPS ground economy, you pay exactly what it says, and you're paying the fees on shipping. So there's no discount for USPS ground economy, but for retail ground, I don't think there's a discount, but I just switch it over to priority because most of the time the price is a little bit higher. So I use USPS retail ground, and then I could do it ground if the priority is more. I could always do it ground, but 9 times out of 10, I switch it over to priority. All right, I'm going to give you a dolphin. You didn't ask. Here you go. Dun, 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 dun. Yvonne made a special one last week while we were gone, and I still have it in here. I haven't asked her if I could steal it. Yvonne made one with mermaids for last week while we were gone. Her special one. PK Bailey, how do you contact eBay and talk to a human?
You can do that anytime you need support. A lot of times it will go down and it'll say, sometimes they'll call you back. Unfortunately, usually it's overseas. I know that some people, if you have a concierge account, you can speak to a human with a direct phone number in the United States, which is more ideal in my opinion, but you have to have a concierge account for that.
I've never called eBay before. I've contacted them on Facebook Messenger, eBay for Business. So it's a little bit slow because when you first message them, it might take about 24 hours before you get a response. You get a generic response, and then even after that, it's a little bit slow. But yeah, I never called. I use Facebook, eBay for Business on Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, so the best way to do it is if you go to contact eBay on the bottom of the main page, you should have an option to chat with someone live or to request a call. And then what you do is you can actually put in a request a call, and they will call you directly. You just have to type in your number there. And then also too, I found that I get a lot of really good response from the eBay for Business on Facebook. I feel like that, you know, when you do chat with someone on eBay's website, that person, you know, is someone who does work customer service, and I think they do outsource that overseas. And I feel like I get a better response and a better turnaround time and a better reaction when I do use the Facebook for Business. So I would highly recommend using Facebook for Business or calling eBay directly. Now, if you do call them directly, make sure you get correspondence of your conversation on the phone. They can actually email you over some information, so you have that for future reference, just in case if you have any discrepancies or any issues that weren't addressed on that phone call. At least you have proof of the call, and you can use that to your advantage in the future.
Yeah, so Miss Bobby's saying the number is buried in the seller help section. They call within 3 minutes. I don't know about you. I don't want to talk to them. eBay for Business on Facebook, I'll give that another vote. That's my go-to. They do, like Shagan said, they do take about 24 hours, but 9 times out of 10, they resolve it. The other ones when they won't remove negative feedback, but most of the time they will fix it. And I have no complaints about that. I don't want to call. I don't want to be on hold. I don't want them to call me. I'm not a phone talking person. I like text me, text me. I'm good. So I am perfectly fine with eBay for Business on Facebook.
So I would say, Pat,
speaking of Facebook, look, we got another super chat. Shabby Vintage Belle joined the club. She got booted from Facebook Marketplace, and now she's one of the cool kids. You guys don't know, I have been booted off Facebook Marketplace for about a year now. We got kicked off for selling license plates on there. I actually, though, when my account was hacked, if you went through all that with me, I didn't have access to my nurse slipper or my personal page for 2 weeks. I made a second one, and that one has access to Marketplace. So really, if I want to be all back into Marketplace, I could, because I think Rod's trying to fix the volume because Gino said he was low. So I could, but I'm not gonna. So let me give you, what are we going to give you? Let me see. Eeny, meeny, miny. Oh, I'll give you the Hi, I'm Dalton one. This is the newest one from Gino. Here you go.
Hi, I'm Dalton.
So Dalton, I will go ahead and announce this. Dalton will be with me at the Boss Reseller Remix in Las Vegas. So if you guys want to meet Dalton, Brooke is staying home. I had one kid at Phoenix. Dalton will be with us in Las Vegas at Boss Reseller Remix. So if you want to meet Dalton, that's your chance. And Marcia is going to put it in. I am super excited. I got a coupon code for you guys. If you buy a virtual ticket to Boss Reseller Remix, Cat Nurse. Teresa picked it. I didn't get to pick it. Cat Nurse. That's what I am. Cat Nurse. Marcia just dropped it. You can get $10 off your virtual tickets. The tickets just went on sale 4 days ago. So if you want to get a virtual ticket, Scott, I'm wearing your shirt. Yay! Congrats on 30K. Chachinki is in the
Scott.
Nice.
Scott.
How do you, man?
Hey, let me know in the chat if my mic is better now. Sorry, I've been having issues with it all night. People are posting there that I'm having my mic sounds low. So
yeah, I saw Gino post it.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to Boss virtually, you can get $10 off using Cat Nurse, because that's what Teresa says I am, and that is my code. And I will be there, and Dalton will be there. Brad will be in Vegas with us, but I highly doubt I am convincing him to come to a reseller event. But he will be in Vegas with us. Let's see. I just wanted to put this up. So Patty said, I bet Dalton was over the moon to have you back home. The funny thing is he didn't even hug me. He's like, Mom, I found a roly-poly and I wanted it to go swimming and they don't do good in water and it drowned. That's all he was worried about. He killed a roly-poly and he was devastated. And that's all he cared about was the roly-poly. Not that Mom was back home. Was all about the roly-poly. He's he loves bugs and beetles, and he's always turning them back over if they're upside down. And so, and then Brad and Dalton actually left Saturday morning. I got home Friday night and they went to a pool party and now they're back home. So now he is excited. But at first, all he cared about was the darn roly-poly drown in the mind of a 4-year-old, Mom's home, but I killed a roly-poly. But yes, so he did have a couple of rough nights because he sleeps with me without me being here, but he is glad I am back home. Shabby Vintage Belle wants to know if we always use tracking when we are shipping.
Well, typically tracking is included unless you send something with just a stamp. And so, yeah, I mean, I use eBay shipping, so everything has tracking. I think the only thing that doesn't maybe is cards, but I'm not 100% sure because I'm not a like sports card seller.
Yeah, always use tracking, because if you don't end up using the tracking, the customer, they might file, item was never delivered, and then you might have to refund the buyer that way. So yeah, always with tracking.
Yeah, I always use tracking. Even with cards, you can get tracking. It's just delayed tracking on those. And then if you guys, the only time I don't use tracking, if I'm doing a local sale on eBay, they actually send you a QR code. And then when you get to the pickup location, the buyer has a QR code. You actually have to scan it. That notifies eBay that the item was the transaction went through, and that your money's secured and everything's good. So, but I always use track on everything I ship, even if I ship something from like Instagram or any other platform.
Yeah, you want to have proof that you ship something. I would never ship something without tracking. And people ask us all the time because there are a lot of small things that could go in an envelope, but a lot of them, like eBay has the standard envelope. It works for some cards, but it doesn't work for everything. So people ask, like, how much do I charge for like smaller thing, like a pen? I charge that $3.50 or $4 because I do the lowest first class with shipping. And I really don't get a ton of flack for that because I think the majority of people do that. So I think people that are used to buying on there are used to that, kind of $3.50, $4 minimum, unless it's a card or something. So yeah, I would say always use it, except like Rod said, local pickup, that would be the exception. Christine says, Angie has me wanting to switch from List Perfectly to Vendu. Can we talk about it? And can anyone say it's definitely going to auto list? I'm going to bust through this and say auto delist is there for List Perfectly, and it will be coming out within days. So we were told that at camp. So it is
in action.
It is in action. We saw it. So all right, go ahead. I don't want to block it. You guys know I'm List Perfectly, like to the core. Like that is my people 110%. I will sit here and tell you, but I have spoke with Clara about this, and Clara personally, like if you use something else, feel free, talk about it. And she will talk about it with you as well. So we don't want to say it's the only way because everything doesn't work the same for everybody else. So Angie, go ahead and tell them. And do you know if Vendu is going to have auto delist?
Yes, at July 6th. We're getting reverb again, Rob. July 6th. Oh, it went away now, I think. I don't know. In 2 days, they'll have auto delist for eBay and Poshmark, and then I think Mercari is coming up very soon. But, everyone, I think it's super important to know that what works for you, great. If you're using List Perfectly, love that. I personally use Vendu, and I think it's great. But nowadays, with the way reselling is going, don't have all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you're using something, regardless of what that is. You don't limit yourself to one basket anymore. I get tons of sales on Mercari and Posh when eBay is slow. So give yourself that option, regardless of what platform you use, to make extra sales.
I don't use LP, but after this camp, I'm definitely going to start. I mean, I've been stubborn with just using eBay for the longest time. And then I also use TrueGether and Bonanza. So those are synced all together with no external software. But I definitely need to get on the LP train and start using it. I've been missing out on sales.
So I don't care what platform you use. If it's List Perfectly, Vendu, Flip, there's many out there. You need to be using a cross-listing platform. Let me tell you a story about myself. I was kicked off eBay for 2 years back in 2012. And at that point in time, I didn't have the options that they had now. That devastated my online selling business. So I had to sell locally. I had to sell other platforms. And unfortunately, if I had a cross-listing software at that point in time, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Just like everyone else, we pivot and move on and do something differently. Unfortunately, though, at that point in time, it just crippled me, and there's not much I can do because just how the marketplace was. It was either Amazon, that, or Craigslist. There wasn't much options out there. So another thing too is it's a great backup. No matter what program you use, you can back up all your listings in there. So if something would ever happen, you get kicked off a platform, you have everything there to use. So it's worth its weight in gold just for the backup capabilities of it.
Yeah, and they have, and I don't know what Vindu has as far as that. There are a lot of features that I don't use on List Perfectly that I should be, because I've gotten stuck in like, this is how I do it. They have like photo room is automatically integrated. You can save the color of background you want it to automatically be. There is a lot of different functions. And honestly, for me, the List Perfectly thing is the community, and the founders are resellers, and they are reseller community based 110%. And Joel's like that too, American Bubble Boy. I think it's super important to deal with companies that started where we started. My Reseller Genie is another one that, like, these are all founded by resellers just like us, which I think is cool. So Joy's asking what List Perfectly or Vindu do. What both of them do, or Flip, like Rod was saying, they take your listing from, say, eBay, and they'll cross-post it to Mercari, Poshmark, Etsy. I think List Perfectly has 14 platforms they do. Kitizen, Shopify. I can't remember. I don't use them all. I use 5. This is a good follow-up question. So Rose wants to, we know Shagan's answer, and then we'll get Scott's super chat. What % of sales do you see on each platform you use?
For me, I would say I still do 70% eBay, and then probably 20% Poshmark, 10% Mercari. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say
90.
Oh, sorry.
95% eBay, and then the other 5% between Bonanza and Trugether.
So when I cross list, it comes down to pretty much I'm like 80% eBay, and then 10% maybe Mercari, 10% Posh. Just depends on where else I'm selling. I do actually probably a small percentage as local sales as well. But I mean, eBay is still going to be the 800-pound gorilla in the room. But it is nice to get those extra sales and the extra money coming in from other platforms, because that does help, especially helps you move stale merchandise. Because there's some platforms that things will not sell on eBay, but they sell super fast on other platforms, and vice versa. Some items won't sell on other platforms, but they sell super fast on eBay. So getting your items out in front of more eyes is only beneficial to your business.
Yeah, so mine is probably about, I would say 80% eBay. It's still primarily eBay. And then I would say probably 10% Posh, 5 Mercari, 5 Etsy. They're pretty low, but Etsy's nice. That's not dollar amounts now. Etsy has a lot of higher dollar sales compared to the other ones. So that would be the only thing as well. Scott sent us a $10 super chat and said he's sending it just because Shagan is here and he gets to meet a new reseller. Scott, so Shagan, Scott is amazing. Like I said, I'm wearing his shirt. I did, and I don't think Shagan knows this because we just met. I did 2 learning camps, like eBay reseller retreats that I put on, and Scott was my second speaker at the one I did in Tennessee. So Scott and I kind of put it on together. He drove over from Texas to do it with me. So I got to meet him at my own event, and he was my co-speaker the first time I met him, but he is absolutely amazing. And I am going to give him, I'm giving you the original super chat. Super chat. Dun, 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 dun.
So it's my first time doing this. So if a super chat comes in and it's based off of me, do we split it 50-50?
No, I keep it. Well, I keep the 70% that YouTube lets me keep.
Right.
That would be like, could you imagine the pain that would be? Then I'd have to 1099 you for $5 because I can't just give people money. You know how it goes. See, Vicky came to my camp. That's how I met Vicky. So I met a lot of people at my camps, which was fun. I know, and if it starts coming in, I know everybody wants me to put on more camps, but we still haven't decided. Not yet. It's super stressful. If you guys have never put on an event, try it.
Oh, yeah.
Try it. Let me know. Maybe we'll come. But it's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Dave has a question for Rod. Have you ever submitted a VHS to be graded? And if you have, what was the turnaround time? And is it still very slow like it was 2 years ago? So I guess Dave's asking, like, recently, Rod, have you sent one in?
Yeah, so recently I have sent some in. The turnaround time is about 3 months for those. If you're going to get, so rule of thumb, if you're going to send stuff in and get graded, I recommend not sending one item in because of the shipping both ways. You got to pay for insurance. There's also a processing fee. That goes with any grading company. If you're going to grade sports cards, you're going to grade video games, you're going to grade VHS, toys, everything. I always recommend sending in like 4 or 5 items your first time. That way you can get a better feel of the market. Also, too, I would write down on a piece of paper what you think the grades are going to be before you submit it in, because this way when you get it back, you have a general idea on how close you were or how far off you were. And then doing a small sample size, that allows you to know what you can do next time if you want to continue to get items graded. I did a very small sample size of comic books when I first started, probably about 10 books. It turned out I had a great results with it. I did a lot of study on the market and kind of what to look for. And then I started to send in lots of 25 at a time. So over just last year alone, I spent over $10,000 getting items graded. So I spent a lot of money. So I got a lot of items graded. But when you do start sending a bunch of items, it's okay that if you miss stuff or you get some crappy grades, because you get a couple high-end or perfect grades, it's going to pay for that entire lot you send in plus some. So when you are grading, it really comes down to a numbers game.
All right. Do not kill me. I do not remember your name. I am horrible with names. I said that on my video. I remember her amazing accent and that she remembered that I like the camera from up here. And she made Kevin have my picture taken the right way. And she had dinner with us and sat next to me last night. But I'm horrible with names. So please tell me your name again. So the Flippin' Brit said, so good to see all your lovely faces after seeing you at Camp LP. She's taken my advice and applied to be monetized. So it's real. Listen, it's crazy. Her story is crazy. Is it Mandy? Did Cactus Blossom? Don't make me look bad, Cactus Blossom. Jennifer, I remember your name. Her daughter put Mandy. Jennifer, you should have got it wrong. Then I wouldn't have felt bad. Her daughter put a nursing video on and it got millions of views and she got 10,000 subscribers and it's from one video. And I'm like, wow. I would apply and be making money from it. Why not? Even if she doesn't want to do videos in the future, get the money, get paid for the advertising. They're doing it anyways. YouTube's making money off you. So I'm glad you applied. If you have any questions about it, please message me. I'm happy to help. So what are we? Oh, here. What am I going to do? I haven't done the beach one. Here's the beach for Mandy. I'm going to remember your name. I'm going to write it down. Here you go. I'm writing it in pink glitter. Dalton is something else, if you do not know. We are happy to help. So happy. Yay! Go Cactus Blossom. Yeah, guys, and I think we talked about it. Sonny's wife, Sonny Las Vegas, his wife Carla had a similar experience. Her first video went viral, it went insane. And some people got it like that, but the funny, most times you're going to put up that second one and it's hard to repeat. But if you get it, then good. Might as well get paid for it.
That's what happened to LL too from Handman Beyond. His first video did 160,000 views.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Amazing.
How to start an Etsy shop. Yeah.
Another Camp LP person. I wanted to put this up because Yaya Rambles is watching us on Facebook. So to all of you, we broadcast to Facebook and to YouTube. So thank you. It was fun hanging out. at Camp LP. We saw Yaya when we went to Tampa's List Perfectly event too, so that was fun. Miss Rose wants to know, do you include a handling fee on shipping? Why or why not?
Yes, I do. And the reason being is we pay eBay fees on shipping. I don't know if all buyers realize that. So with first class, typically I charge, up to like $6.95, and that's barely covering it sometimes now. So with the increase, I'll be raising that up a little bit. But I kind of make sure that whatever my list price is, plus my shipping is definitely going to cover all the fees that I have. And my fees on eBay are upward of 25% based on the fact that I'm promoting. You don't have to do that. And some people say that they have better sales if they charge exactly, but my sales are still pretty good. And I charge probably not enough to cover all of the fees with the shipping, but I do charge a little bit of handling fee in there to help defray some of those costs.
It really depends on how much the item costs. On some of the lower items, $30 to $40, I do add a little bit of extra fee in there. If they're paying $70 or $80 or $90, I normally don't add that fee just because they're paying so much. And I do work with eBliss, so I do have extra shipping that's on top of that. So it's about $5 per item plus another 50 cents per month. So I do add it on lower end items.
So I don't charge a handling fee with my items. Part of the reason for that is I make my money on the purchase. I not the sell. So for me, I'm buying at such a small percentage on the dollar that I can afford to eat that that fee sometimes. Also too is if you are shipping through eBay does allow you to get a shipping discount, which is usually anywhere from 20 to 30%. That 20 to 30% usually covers not only my fees covers my boxes or my packing material, but also too with some additional money left over. So that does help out when you do get those shipping discounts. But overall, I don't really have much of an issue. Sometimes when it comes to first class, I would maybe put my items maybe 2 ounces higher, or maybe the bracket up to kind of counteract that. That is one thing that I have done in the past just to give myself a little leeway, because I'm at the point now where I've been selling for so long, I can almost eyeball an item, especially when you are dealing with items. And a lot of the other sellers on here can probably do the same thing, especially when you're dealing with first class. You can pretty much have an eyeball and have a general idea, especially if you're selling very similar ideas, so you don't sit there and weigh out your items. So by doing that, because 6 and 8%, 6 and 8 ounces is going to be the same exact, shipping cost for those. So just little tricks you can do, but you have to see what works best for your business.
Yeah, so I feel the same way as Rod. I feel like that 30% discount covers your 10% fees, plus you have 20% more left over on what the buyer paid and what you're paying. So that a lot of times is $2, $3, $4, $5 that you're getting. I know I wouldn't want to pay a handling fee, and if I sort price highest to lowest or lowest to highest, those people that have a handling fee are going to come up further down in that list, and I'm not going to buy from them. And that is how I sort. And I think if you're a price conscious person, I'm cheap. People tell me don't call myself cheap, but I'm cheap. If you are, that's how you're going to sort. So be very, very careful if you're adding a handling fee and others don't have it, because that could make people buy other people's stuff before yours. Now, if your price is lower and you add the handling fee, it's still going to wash out. So I would bump up my price before I would add handling, because I think most people kind of know where shipping is. So that's when you get these pain in the hiney people. Why is your shipping $9 and everybody else's is $7? So yeah, but the only exception would be like paintings and stuff that's like absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, see, Jennifer just said it. Large items that need a lot of packing. Like if it's going to take me an hour to pack that painting, I might add a handling fee. I most of the time still don't, because most of those big items I'm making hundreds and hundreds of dollars, if not thousands. So I feel like that compensates me for my extra time. But if you can get away with it.
And I should say, I guess I don't think of the handling fee that they add on with calculated shipping. I just add a little extra onto my shipping, and I've been doing it
Like
for
the
so
weight?
long.
You mean the weight, or are you doing flat rate?
I just kind of like first class, I do everything like $6.95. I don't put on a handling fee on top of the calculated shipping. I just wanted to clarify that.
So you just like mark it up a little bit
just to cover some of the fees, but you know, like first class is usually $6.95. So if it's $6.10,
like
I'm
$4.50
covering
or something.
that. So I just wanted to clarify because I don't actually use the handling fee and then calculate
like that
shipping.
line.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of ways to do it, and just to clarify, I mean, no one's wrong with what we're doing on this.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But you know, I know people that will make a higher price and then cut their shipping costs in half, just so they have a lower shipping cost, but they're still adding the handling fee and the shipping into their actual price. So I mean,
or the free shipping.
Yeah, free shipping. Nothing's free. You're just adding that cost into your overall cost of your item, and then the perception is that you're having a free shipping, but you're actually paying for that in the cost of your item. So you know, it's just whatever works for your business, whatever mind trick.
Yeah, I do like Rod does too, and do like, so my license plates, probably 80% of them are 8 ounces. Oh, it's fireworks. I was like, what the hell do I hear? Sorry. I was like, why are there gunshots outside of my shed? I just realized like what the booms were. So my license plate, 75 to 80% are 8 ounces, but they're all at 12 ounces. Yeah. So we mark them down, and we have that extra. That's like an extra $1.52. And yeah, set it up for how it works for you. Just be conscious of your overall price is what I was trying to say with that sorting. So if your price is $2 cheaper, but your shipping's $2 cheaper, you're going to come in like right in line with that. But you pay attention for those people that do sort like I do from price lowest to highest with shipping. Do you hear them? Like, it's super loud. I feel like they're shooting them off the roof of my shed. And we're in the country. Like, we're not near, like, anybody. So they must be really, really big fireworks. Okay. Chance said, I usually go with priority, but typically put the pre-purchase weight at a pound less than I think it will be. Is that risky? It seems to work out about every time. So I think she's like doing the opposite of what we just said. We said we're marking it up. So me using USPS retail ground, right? That charges them a little less. Instead of doing that, she's charging a pound. I would not do that.
No, you're losing money.
Well,
it could be a lot. Like if it's far, far away from you, you could get yourself in trouble. I would do like I'm doing and use that USPS retail ground because you're still having it calculated, but at the right weight. So if it is expensive, you can just switch it to ground and you won't get dinged. Sorry, Angie.
No, that's okay. I definitely don't undersell yourself. I live in Florida, so if things go to California, Oregon, or whatever, that would cost me so much money all the time. So yeah, don't do that.
I was a little confused on what she was asking, I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
Okay.
She's saying if something weighs 3 pounds, she's putting it at 2 pounds to try and, cause like we get that discount when we print the label. So it's almost like she knows most of the time she's going to be covered, and she's asking if that's a mistake, putting it at a pound less than what she thinks it'll weigh.
Oh yeah, so you definitely want to try to put the actual price or the weight into the item specifics, and don't undercut yourself.
So what she's pretty much doing is she's actually passing that 20 to 30% discount from that she's getting for shipping onto her customers. And so what she's, pretty much, and the only thing you need to keep in mind though, is that your gas, that your package material, your tape, you all need to take an account for those. So if you're undercharging for shipping and you're getting that discount, you might be charging them the exact cost for shipping. Now you're eating the cost for your supplies, for your gas, everything else. So at the end of the day, I mean, yes, you can do that. So it looks like you have a lower shipping charge to try to maybe get an advantage when you have your listing on there. I know some sellers do that. A lot of people that do sell items that are like, $7-8, they'll actually put a cheaper shipping charge in there so that the shipping cost doesn't look higher than the actual item that they're trying to sell. But I mean, at the end of the day, make sure that you're taking account that, you do have other expenses in this. And a lot of buyers don't a lot of sellers don't take into consideration that, it's not just you're selling on eBay. You have electric, you have supplies, you have your time, everything else put in there. So I would highly recommend moving that, just use calculated shipping, put the correct weight in there, because if you're a volume seller, that might be fine if you're selling 10, 20 items a month. But if you're selling hundreds of items a month, that's going to add up quick.
Yeah, I agree. Miss Janet says, how often do you send offers on eBay when eBay suggests that you send those offers?
12 times a day, probably. every time I go on there and there are more, I automatically do that, because I kind of feel like when that comes up, they've looked at my item recently, and I want that to be able to send them an offer within a short period of time while they're still interested in my item. So every time I look on there, if there's ones to send, I send it.
This kind of reminds me with the earlier question with promoted listings. So I do something similar. I wait a little bit to see if it's a brand new listing and someone is, I have a watcher on it. I'll wait maybe a day or two to see if they just buy it outright. And if not, then I'll send offers. So maybe every 2 or 3 days after it's listed, just to try to maximize how much money I'm going to get from that item.
So for me I'll take 60% of a dollar over 100% of nothing, 60% today over 100% nothing tomorrow. And I will send offers usually twice a day, because majority of the population of the US is on the East Coast. I usually send it around the East Coast time. So I'm very strategic with this. I try to send between around lunchtime on the East Coast every single day, because most people are on their lunch break or they're about to go to lunch. So they have it. What are you doing your lunch? You're going to send your phone. Also, too, I like to send in the evenings between the hours of like 7 and 9, because what's everyone doing? You had dinner, you're sitting on your couch, you're playing with your phone, you're hanging out with your family, so you're not distracted with work or other things. So those are the key times I usually send all my offers. But I will send other offers throughout the day, especially if it's an item that I think, that hasn't popped up in a while, or, it hasn't got much interest. I may send a really high or really great offer to them just to move it, but I try to be very strategic with it. And those are the times of the day I actually send, and it works out pretty well for me. I've been doing that for years.
Yeah. So I used to be like Angie, and I sent it like all the time, but then I started, because I would just like send random, I would like pick, like different prices, but now I send it depending on how long it's been listed, and it's easier to see on the computer how long it's been listed. So I do it first thing in the morning, which is about like 9 Eastern normally. And then I might do it midday, and then I do it at night before I go to bed too. So 3 times a day. I just sent some. So I'm close to the times Rod does, not purposely, but do what works for you. We've had a couple of guests, and I don't remember who on the show. Some of them only send them on Fridays because they're like, Friday's payday. I'm going to send it when people are getting paid. So try different things. I don't remember who. We've had a couple that said like they only send their offers on Fridays. They save them all up once a week. They go out on Fridays. I can't. It's again seeing that darn button that says I have X amount to do this. I don't like buttons. Like nurses have to like check off what they do, and like I don't like seeing any of that. So yeah, but I would use it. I agree with Segun. I don't sell a lot of really fast selling stuff. So like that 1 to 2 day thing doesn't typically like, I guess, apply to me because I don't have a lot of super fast stuff. But I'll tell you guys, I'm like Rod, like I will take that offer the day after because it just might be the right person. And if I don't take it or I counter it, it might be months before the darn thing sells. So if I'm making a good profit, I'll still take it.
And also on the reverse side of that, if people are sending you offers, you have 24 hours to accept those offers. So if you just listed an item, you can wait to the next day to accept that offer to see what other offers you get, especially if you get an offer right away within the first like 10, 20 minutes of listing an item.
Yeah, then you better research and make sure your pricing's right before you do anything with it. I'm like, oh wait, I've done that before and changed the price and increased it. Cause I was like, wait, what's going on? Yeah. Pee-wee wants to know, how can you require the eBay purchaser to pay for shipping, insurance, or do I factor it in myself?
Well, everything up to is covered up to $100 now, and it used to be Parcel Select did not have insurance automatically, but with the Ground Advantage, it will now up to $100. And if it's over that, I don't use calculated shipping, but I've been doing eBay for a super long time, and so I'm really comfortable with creating a number that works for me for shipping. If you're new, I don't recommend doing that. But for me, I just add in extra because I know that I'm going to cover that extra insurance and I'm going to charge them for that. But if it's over $100, yeah, you want to factor that into your shipping price. But you know, I just do it a little bit different, but I have a lot of experience. So I'm really comfortable with pricing my own items.
I use flat rate shipping, and for the insurance, I normally build that cost right into the flat rate shipping. If you're doing an auction and you're not sure about what the end price is going to be, so you don't know how to calculate how much insurance you're going to need, I believe you can send an invoice to the customer and tell them about, or, make a request for this insurance because you don't know the ending price with the auction.
So the insurance is actually based on the amount of money you're going to insure the item. So you can have a good understanding prior to even, what you plan on selling the item for, prior to what that insurance cost is going to be. So there is times I do use flat rate. I use 98% of the time I do use calculated shipping because it's just easier for me. It's easier for the buyers. And, with all the different shipping changes out there every 6 months, I don't have to adjust anything in my store. So it makes things very easy, especially if you're dealing with, thousands of items. But if I'm dealing with high-end like comic books or high-end items that I'm going to have to ship through UPS, I do a flat rate shipping cost because I've shipped so many of those items. I already have a general idea of what the shipping cost is going to be, what the insurance is going to be, and then that way there's no issues.
Yeah, and for me, most of the time, if I sell a $3,000 purse, I'll pay $20 for the insurance out of my pocket. I don't really have an issue with that, and I did. I think I had to pay. I want to say it was $60 or $80 when I sold the two $3,000 purses together because I insured it for $6,000. But again, I was making thousands and thousands of dollars. So if I have to pay 60 or 80 bucks, I'm okay insuring it. But you could, if you know it, you could add that as a handling fee, or like Segun said, you could send them an invoice. I think most buyers would probably complain. I feel like they'd be like, well, that people want to complain about everything. So I would probably have it in there before that. If you wanted to charge it.
I say a general rule of thumb is you should have at least a 5% wiggle room that shouldn't affect any of your bottom lines. And if you don't, then your buy cost is too high and you need to readjust your business model. Because, if you miscalculate an item, put the wrong weight in, or if you have to pay extra shipping on it, you can afford to eat those costs because you're going to already have big margins for, because you're buying, because you make your money on the buy, not the sell.
Let's see. Yeah, so Phyllis is saying on her high price jewelry, I pay the insurance. Like my last high one was the Hobey bracelet I sold for $1,500. I paid the insurance on that as well. With those higher ones, theoretically, you should have quite a bit of profit in there and room for it. Angie, I don't know. Do you know the answer for this for Vendu, how fast the auto delist is going to be?
I don't know. I think they said within, I can't say definitively. I don't want to answer if I don't know. I know it's very quickly it's going to happen, but I don't know if it's instantaneous or if it's a minute or 5 minutes. So it's fast. I do know that.
It's dropping this month too, isn't it, Angie?
What's that?
I think it's dropping this month too, isn't it?
In 2 days.
So yeah, I feel like
in 2 more days I'll be able to try it and give you more advice, but I don't want to say yet because I haven't used it.
Do they have auto sales detection like List Perfectly does right now?
Yes.
So with that on Vindu, so on List Perfectly, I can set how often it checks, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Do you have that option on Vindu where you set how often it scans your platforms? Because I figure the auto delist is going to be the same. So if you set it for 5 minutes, it'll scan every 5 minutes. That's what mine's on for the auto sales detection. I figure it'll be the same. Like, you got to tell them how often to like check your accounts.
Yeah. But I haven't, like, I just hate to like say, yes, it's going to be this way when I don't 100% know yet.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty fast on ours, but they didn't, I don't remember if they said, Vicky's asking, when will List Perfectly have a phone app? So List Perfectly is a Chrome extension. So therefore I don't know that they will have an app. You can use List Perfectly from the web on your phone, but you can't cross post unless you can add that extension. And what I did when I was still nursing is I bought a cheap, like $150 Chromebook, because you can get the Chrome extensions. And then I did my cross posting from the little Chromebook and brought that with me to work. Yeah, so I don't know that they said anything about like a fully functional app, but the way that it works, scanning is a web-based thing. So that's why I don't know if it would ever cross over. So I don't know the answer to that. Chance wants to know, which Posh sharer do you use? It's been mentioned before, but I'm old and I can't remember either. I need to write everything down too.
I highly, highly recommend using Flip. I don't use them for cross listing because they are very slow and it's a little clunky, but they are 100% free for using for Poshmark sharing, and they'll also automatically send offers to watchers for Poshmark, which I love. I tried them out last year when I didn't cross listed with anyone. And I can say that I went from 0 to Poshmark ambassador in under 2 weeks just by using Flip. And I truly attribute my sales to being able to share constantly on there. But that's what I use, and it's 100% free.
Oh, I don't sell on Posh, not yet. So nothing right now.
I don't use one, so it's over to you, Kat.
I use One Shop. One Shop's my favorite, and I actually have, and they have a cross poster too that I don't use. It is an app, and I use it for Poshmark sharing. I do the send offers, like Angie said, and then I also I've been using it to delist and relist stale Mercari and Poshmark listings. So One Shop is the one that I use. I think I have a discount code. Message me on Instagram. I think I have a discount code. I don't give it out a lot because I'm not a big Poshmark seller, so I don't really like promote that much. But I think I have something. I think I'll look.
Angie, does Flip allow you to delist and relist on Posh? I mean, I'm not Posh. I mean Mercari. Does it allow you to do anything on Mercari, refreshing your listings or anything like that? Or is that just for Posh?
No, I don't think Flip does that. But Flip, if you want like a free cross lister, if you're, you can use Flip, but they are a little clunky. But, if you have a very low budget, but, the other ones, List Perfectly, Vendu, have very, small packages. If you're a small seller, that it's worth all of the extra features that they have to, in my opinion, to pay for one of those services. I think you can get them at least as low as $8.95, and one sale a month would pay for that easily. So don't be afraid to invest in yourself and your business, even to get a small package to be able to use the features.
Kat, speak about Mercari. We need to bring this to everyone's attention. Well, let's welcome Mercari into 2014. Welcome to 2014, Mercari. Welcome.
Kind of. They're still a little clunky.
Mine are doing perfect. I just open it and print, and it's good to go.
Even for UPS Ground or FedEx?
Yes.
Mine still are not. Mine, the UPS labels still come in sideways, and I have to do the whole paint.
I had a FedEx one today, and it came in perfectly.
Yeah, it's really frustrating for me because I'm not sure what's going on, but they still come in sideways, and then you have to go through the turning them and saving the whole thing. So
The
I'm
whole
hoping they get that
screenshot, blah, blah,
updated.
blah. Yeah, hopefully. They're making some strides.
Hey, we're happy, like first class priority. We can do it, so we'll take it.
Yeah, but like me, I know like the UPS and FedEx are the cheaper on the heavier, so that's what most of my Mercari are on, UPS and FedEx, if they're not first class. But I do the FedEx Smart Post thing. Do you use that? I use that.
Yes.
Because it's the cheapest.
Yeah.
Pee-wee wants to know, what item have you bought thinking it was authentic and worth a lot of money, only to find out it was fake?
I think for me it was probably, bags early on when I didn't know a whole lot. But if there's even a question for me of authenticity, I probably won't at least not put a lot of money into it. But early days, I think I bought some designer, like they weren't Louis Vuitton, but some maybe like Gucci or something wallet that I thought was real and it wasn't. But I'm really more careful, and I've invested time in myself to learn what is authentic or not. But I don't take a chance on a whole lot of things if I'm not pretty certain.
I like this question. I was in Thailand recently, and I was at a flea market, and of course, there's a lot of replicas over there, a lot of Chinese knockoffs. And I found some Legos, and this was my first time buying used Legos. The only ones I've had in the past, they're all brand new, still sealed, and it was cheap. It was like $9 for a box of a bunch of Marvel Legos. So if they were authentic, it would have been worth hundreds. But I didn't have time to. I didn't know what Legos were, how to authenticate them. I didn't know, but I bought them because there were also some Dragon Ball Z figures in there, and I knew those were real for a fact. So I mean, I still made a few dollars. So and the other ones I ended up just donating, but it was like a few $100s that I thought that there's potentially I could have got.
So give you guys a little tip on Legos. Every single authentic Lego piece says Lego on it. So if you actually flip it upside down, you look underneath, every single piece has it. Doesn't matter what it is, how small it is, they will all say Lego on it. So just keep that in mind. For me, as actually one of my very first YouTube videos, I actually bought a mystery box of comic books offline, which is one of the prizes was a Stan Lee autograph book, which was guaranteed. And I ended up getting a Stan Lee autograph book. I sent it off to Beckett to be authenticated, and it came back they couldn't authenticate it. So it made for great content on YouTube. I did a follow-up video and ended up getting refunded by the seller. But in a little twist, probably about 6 months later, they resubmitted it to Beckett, and it came back as authenticated this time. So it just goes to show you that not all companies that do authenticate autographs are 100% perfect. You have to take that in consideration, especially, who's reviewing the autograph that day, who's taking a look at the item. But you just got to be very careful. You just have to know your source, where it's coming from. And that just doesn't go for just buying like autograph stuff. That goes for buying purses. That's going for buying Legos, stuff that people like to authenticate. One of my favorite things to do at garage sales, I always like to ask people where they got the item or where it came from, because that can help kind of give you a little background where they got it from. A lot of times people are like, oh, yeah, my wife worked at Dillard's, and that's where she used to get all of her purses at discount. Okay, now that's going to be real and authentic, or a better chance to be, compared to someone's like, oh, yeah, I bought it at the flea market, when I was in New York. Well, then, more than likely it's not going to be real. So make sure you guys ask those questions. It's a good way to ask without being rude to the person to ask if it's fake. Just ask them where they may have got it from or how old it is. That kind of give you a better understanding.
Yeah, so for me, just recently, and it wasn't worth a ton, but I picked up a Kate Spade purse at the thrift store, and it was fake. So it's actually in my box, but not listed. I need to do something with it. It's still in my inventory, but not listed. Not listed.
Also, there's a lot of apps out there too, especially for shoes and purses, where you can actually pay like the $2 fee. You can actually submit like several pictures to it, and the app will give you a verification, let you know if it's real or if it's not. It's still not going to be 100%, but at the same point in time, it helps protect your account on eBay from getting dinged for selling fake merchandise. So keep that in mind.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Good advice.
Miss Christie wants to know, what are your top 3 tips for growing your reselling business and social media organically with no pressure to earn income from sales?
My least favorite tip is, or the best tip I can give you is my obviously least favorite thing, because I'm not good at it, which is be consistent. The folks who, when, at least for social media, if people expect you to be there every Tuesday putting out a video, make sure you're putting out a video every Tuesday. Definitely make sure that you keep a schedule and let people know when to expect you, so that you can grow your audience. As far as reselling, same thing. If you are consistently listing eBay and other platforms, I think you get more sales just from having an active store. And that doesn't necessarily mean listing every day, but being active in some way, whether you're sending offers, changing prices, running a sale, things like that. That is going to definitely help you build your reselling business, as well as, on the social media side.
So with social media, I highly recommend looking into YouTube Shorts. And you can put up to 60 seconds, and you don't have to do crazy editing. You can do a 10 or 15-second video with a little voiceover, and you can add a little bit of music. And in the description or in the comment, you can link your eBay store to the link. So maybe you can get some extra traction that way. So I really recommend YouTube Shorts, and for Instagram, the stories, just to show things that's going on in your life. And it's super easy to show things on Instagram. You don't have, again, no editing, just a quick picture or music, and it's gone after 24 hours. And it's very natural, and people that have a connection to you because you're showing what's happening, and it's easy and simple.
So I would say one of the best pieces of advice I got was actually from Kat. She said, be everywhere. You should be everywhere to grow your social media. People, it takes, there's a reason why people, when they do regular marketing, traditional, they're on TV, they're on billboards, they're on bus stops, you're getting stuff in the mail because you're seeing you everywhere, because it takes several times for people to remember that name or to build that brand. So same thing with yourself. If you're just posting on one social media, you're going to really limit yourself. Be on Twitter, be on TikTok, be on Facebook, be on Instagram, be on YouTube. But also, too, not just be there, put out quality content. I have a general rule of every video I put out on YouTube, I try to make it 1% better than my previous video. And you want to over-deliver and provide value to people so that they keep coming back. So the biggest thing for me is I try to provide as much value as possible, free of charge for everybody, just that way that they can, I didn't have someone to guide me when I first started 20-something years ago. So I tried to help people as much as possible and just be there, be part of the community. By doing those things, you're going to help just organically grow your business. And in return, it's going to help out your reselling business. But on the other side is, when you are growing your social media, that may take time away from your business. So you kind of have to have a balancing and juggling act between the two. Because I will say, even this day, even though I do get paid on YouTube, I lose money every time I put out a video on YouTube, because it takes those hours to take away from me reselling when I'm sourcing or listing. So it is you need to have a good balance in there. But you also have to like the process. So do it because for the right reasons, that you enjoy it, that you like helping the community. And that's why I do it. So I like the process. So I don't care if I'm wasting those 3, 4, 5 hours, because it's not wasted for me. It's, like I said many, many times, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, this is something that you're in for the long haul for everybody.
Yeah. So I couldn't stand the 90-degree plus temperature in my shed anymore with my hair down. I had to put it up. I am like sweating horribly. So I think that these two things most of the time are completely separate. And the reason that I'm saying that is you'll see some sellers, and we actually talked about this at Camp LP, some YouTubers or social media people get a lot of viewer sales and it helps their business. I am not one of those people. I make less than 5% of my sales from viewers because I am targeting resellers to help them increase their knowledge. Most resellers are like me. They're cheap and they're not going to go buy my stuff. But some people do. It was 114 the first day I got there, JoJo, in Arizona, and we went to the ghost town and went out in the heat. We were brave. But so I think the two of these, while they could be together, the people that come to mind for me for reselling business and social media that are like hitting it out of the park would be like Left Coast Revivals, Vintage Bombshell. They're selling themselves. They're selling themselves. You know, like Segun said, you know, like, here's like the clothes I'm wearing. Here's the jewelry I found, and it will be for sale soon. So as far as reselling, if you're niche down, you could sell all kinds of, you could share, you know, cool pictures of the stuff that you're selling and build an audience for that thing, you know, but same thing, consistency stays the same, but it's a different audience. You know, it's not the same audience that necessarily might watch you for reselling. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. And I'm okay with that because that's what I want to do. You know, if people buy from me, I appreciate it, but I don't expect it in any way, shape, or form. And to those that can get it, more power, you know, more power. I wish I can't sell merch. I can't sell shirts or I can't sell merch to save my life. And I've said this a lot of times. I cannot sell merch. And that's okay, you know, because once again, just like reselling, YouTube, you can do so many different things, and YouTube is a business. You can have a different business model. You can be fun and, you know, more on the entertainment side, or you could be on the educational side. And so consistency would be the same for both. I would say, again, if depending on what social media you mean, your audience is going to be different, I guess, is really what I'm trying to get across. Do you want buyers in that audience, or do you want other resellers that are show and support you, which can cross over? But be consistent. If you really want to build a social media around reselling, I feel like you need a niche to really like grow it for the right population, if that makes sense. I know I'm rambling, but it's so, you know, like, I don't feel like I have a buyer audience, but like and I need to think of the friggin' name for my second channel. I'm changing it. Like, I will make an Instagram for that, and all you'll see is my resin art. So my purpose for that is going to be getting buyers that like my resin art. Like, yeah, you like watching it, but I want you to buy it. So that's going to be a completely different audience that, again, some will cross over. Okay, I'm going to shut up now. I'm talking way too much. Huh?
I said, and you're going to be implementing a different marketing strategy that you do for your other channel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it will be completely different, you know, because it'll be crafts, and I want people to buy my stuff. I want them to learn from it, but I also want them to buy it. Did we already? I think we answered that one already. That was about offers. This is a good one, and you might get different answers. That's why I like doing this panel so much. Mary says, I had a buyer message me after the sale and asked to send to another address. Should I cancel the sale and have them repurchase with the correct address?
For me, it depends. If it is a buyer that has a lot of feedback, then a lot of times their message and their request is in the emails, the messaging. So I'll change the address. But if it's a brand new person, I typically will tell them, I can't do that in the eBay system. You have to cancel and then repurchase. I just kind of go with my gut on it, honestly. I've not really been burned by that, but I know that is a way that you can get around the seller protection, and you could get burned with it. So just go, you know, for me, I go with my gut.
When I get these questions about changing the address, I just change it. And I haven't got burned, so cross my fingers, you know, it's been 3 years. So I'm thinking if I have any issues, I can message eBay and they can see in the messages that the buyer requested a change. So I'm assuming I'm protected. Like I said, I haven't had any issues, and I don't want to cancel that sale because you're waiting and then they might just ghost. And you're waiting for a few days and you might have missed out on a potential buyer. So I just send it to the address that they say.
So just like Angie said, I use my gut on this one. If it's Stephanie who lives in Atlanta and the new address is Savannah, still in the same state, like, and she has a lot of feedback, probably not an issue, you know. But if John purchases the item and then they want me to send it to Zimbabwe, you know, I'm in a completely different name, completely different everything, more than likely it's going to be a red flag for me. So, you know, it just depends on the situation, where the item's going. Used to have a lot of buyers that would, when the accounts got hacked, they would have like it was sent to like a foreign location, stuff like that back in the day. But everything is recorded in eBay Messenger. And general rule of thumb here, if you have any questions before you do anything, contact eBay support. You can pick up the phone, you can give them a call, you can jump on the chat. Whatever they say, you can get a record of that to protect yourself, so that is protected. So if you have any doubts, you don't want to cancel it, go that route. Just protect yourself, get confirmation of that conversation. But I mean, most of the time I just change it, especially if the item's like $50 or less. Like at that point in time, if I lose $20 item, I lose a $20 item. You know, but at the end of the day, if it's an item that's a couple $100, maybe take the extra step and contact eBay just to protect yourself.
Yeah, I 95% of the time just switch it. Like I've had people buy it and it's a birthday gift, so it's completely somewhere else. But again, you have the messages showing, you know, that they asked it, but I've never had to use it. I've never gotten burned by that at all. So I just change it. Miss Linda is saying she just got 2 chargebacks from USPS. Who does she contact to find out why?
2 chargebacks. Did you do that through eBay? I guess my question is,
I would assume it's eBay. Like, you know, when something's over the weight of what you told them, and then like a month later or whatever, it charges you. I think that's what she means. I think.
Well, I don't know who to contact actually, so if someone else can answer. But I will tell you that when they no longer did regional rate and they said we could use those boxes and just mark out the regional rate part, don't use them. Now I had 5 boxes that they recently went from, you know, regular shipping, and they charged me a medium flat rate on 5 boxes all in the same week. And I like had a fit about it. And then I put it out there on my channel and found someone else, Christy, it happened to her as well using the regional rate boxes. So at this point, it's inconsistent. So get rid of your regional rate boxes, but someone else can answer who to contact, because I ate that money.
So Andy, did you try contacting eBay to talk to them about that or anything online?
They weren't eBay sales.
Oh, they weren't eBay sales. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So my situation, it was something through pirate ship, and I should have messaged them, but still, it was the automated system. When your boxes go through, they automatically just, you know, and unfortunately, I just didn't know who to contact. So maybe someone else knows.
Yeah, I'm assuming that the label was purchased through eBay. I haven't had any chargebacks. I've been lucky. If it was me, I would contact eBay for business on Facebook Messenger. That's my normal go-to, but that's what I would do.
So usually when that does happen, when you get a charge from the post office after the item's already been shipped, you get an email, and with that email will say that your weight was off X amount of whatever it was at that point in time. You know, if that's happening multiple times to you, I would make sure that when you do use your scale, make sure that you zero out your scale, because sometimes your scales can get messed up. And if you don't zero out your scale, it could be actually underweighting your items, and that it can really mess up your shipping, especially if you're like 1 or 2 ounces off. It can actually bump it up the next, and you get charged those extra fees. So just make sure you do it to protect yourself. But I would just reach out to eBay customer service. They should be able to let you know what happened with those, and you should have an email explaining the situation directly from eBay. Or if you go to your eBay Messenger, they should have something in there, but does say, you know, you were off 8 ounces or 4 ounces or under this, and then it'll let you know what the problem was and what you were actually charged.
Yeah, so when you contact eBay, they will give you a phone number. So you actually have to dispute it with USPS, not with eBay. I know because it has happened to me. I normally don't. And like Rod was saying, I was getting a ton of them probably like 2 years ago. I bought a new scale and the problem went away. My scale just was off. So I would definitely think about that if you start getting more. I know you just got 2, but if it's small amounts, personally, I wouldn't waste my time. I would just eat it. And second, but if it's a lot, I had somebody say they charge them 50 pounds instead of 5. So it sounds like it was a typo. And I actually won the appeal on mine that I called about. So there's an 800 number to USPS. You just appeal it and say, look, like this was not that heavy. I don't know what happened. And it was pretty easy to go through. So Cece, what Angie was saying is that she used the regional boxes because we're supposed to be, they said we could, and she was overcharged to a medium flat rate. What I have been doing with the regional boxes is using them for Poshmark. Because with Poshmark, you can use any priority box. So
True.
I just use my regional boxes for my Poshmark sales is what I do. Sean wants to know, Angie and Segun, do either of you use Whatnot? She knows that Rod and I do.
Yes, I have done Whatnot. I had my own YouTube auction for about a year, and it's a lot of work. I do love Whatnot. I just haven't spent a whole lot of time yet over there, but I plan to incorporate it because I think it's a great place to sell a lot of inventory quickly. So, but you have to look at, you're probably not going to get as much as you would on other platforms, but if you're buying items like at the right price, you can still make a great income doing that. I mean, like Flip the World, Chris, he is pretty much exclusively doing Whatnot now. So I'll be doing much more of them, but the month of June, I took off from auctions completely. So I'll have starting up again this month. Muted.
You're muted.
We can't hear you, Segun.
Oh, I have an account on Whatnot, and I have not done a show in 7 months because I was outside the country. So I do want to get back into Whatnot. I saw one of the speakers, Sarah. I talked about this in one of my videos. When you're traveling, how you can subsidize part of your costs when you're sourcing, and then whatever doesn't sell in Whatnot, you can take that home. So it's a really great app. I do miss it. I want to get back into it.
There you go. So all 4 of us do use it.
Hey, Kat, going back to the last question, just a quick shipping hack for people. If you guys have a dumbbell, if you guys have a dumbbell laying around your house, you can use that to test out your scale and make sure your scale is on point. Or if you're outsourcing, pick up like a 2-pound dumbbell you find at a yard sale or a thrift store for $2 or $3. It's always good to keep it at home so you can test out your scale if you're having any problems with your scale.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, good tip. Good tip. Victoria said, hello, appreciate you all. I'm a small-time seller on eBay and just found another listing using my photos. What can I do about this?
Sadly, Victoria, nothing. eBay back in the day used to be really great about protecting your pictures, and you could like put a complaint in. But now the rule is that your pictures are basically public domain. And I think that's because they want to be like Amazon and create a catalog of products. And so they want to be able to use your pictures as well. So, and you're not allowed to watermark your pictures on eBay, which would, protect with what we used to do back, years ago, but you're not allowed to do that anymore. So take it as
which covers Jamie's question. Can you put a company logo? It is against eBay policy.
No more. We used to do that to protect ourselves, but you can't do that. So just take it as a compliment that you had good pictures, unfortunately.
That's never happened to me. I've just seen titles being taken before, and I've never seen my pictures. But as Angie said, I guess there's nothing we can do about that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen my titles taken all the time. Take it as a compliment. I mean, people are that you're having items to sell, someone's using your sell similar and just do this and it. But also, too, that means you're taking really good photos. So if people want to use your photos, so they're coming up on Google as well. People are going to use them. I used to have a website called Sports Exclusives where I used to get custom bobbleheads made, and people used to steal my photos all the time off Google and online to post on eBay. So just take it as a compliment. Nothing you can do. Just move on. Focus on things you can focus on.
Yeah, and like Angie said, so your picture, you know how they have stock photos for like DVDs and stuff like that? They could take your they legally own your photo when you upload it. It belongs to them. So you could see your photo, like somebody could go to upload a tape measure, and your photo of your tape measure is the stock one that every person who lists one on eBay can say, oh, I'd like to use that stock photo. So yeah, they own your pictures after you upload them. MLB says, I know Kat's answer, she sells everything. Do you ever speculate or save on? I don't know what he means. Like if he means like you hold back items.
I could take this question if you want me to, because that's part
well,
of my
can you tell us what he means so they can answer?
So, for example, like in sports, if a new prospect's coming up, a lot of people will go and buy a bunch of their cards before they get to the majors because they're hoping that draft pick's going to turn into a superstar. Or in like pop culture world, if let's just say a lot of people don't know this, but Pink Panther movie's coming out in the next year or two, and so they're going to bring back the Pink Panther. So right now you can be gathering a bunch of Pink Panther merchandise, waiting for the drop. Or Fantastic Four is going to be coming out in 2025. So what a lot of people do is they'll start speculating on that, because I actually talked about this perfectly. This is actually my entire speech was on this, but that's what they do is you actually speculate in that, because when the trailer drops, when they announce the director, when they announce an actor for the movie, it's out of sight, out of mind. Now that's to the top of the news, and then you're going to get a lot more interest in that IP, and then it's going to die down for a couple months, and then they announce the director. Now they get back again. Now it goes back up. When that trailer drops, that's usually when you have the peak interest for a movie, when that trailer drops. So a lot of people will actually buy items, when they know like a comic book or like a book gets optioned by a movie theater, by whatever company, I can't think of the word, a production company. There we go.
Right.
It's been a long day, right? When a production company options it, that means that they have first right for refusal to use that IP or that license. A lot of people will buy up that merchandise and wait. So he's asking you, or do any of you guys?
Oh, do you do that, Angie? Do you buy stuff and speculate?
I really don't do that. I know that Justin, the flipping accountant, he does that with Lego. He has like $25,000 in a storage unit of brand new Lego waiting for retirement or things to go up in value and things. So I don't do that. I like to get items and flip them quickly. So I just don't have enough space to be able to do that. But I know some people really do that, and they are super successful with it.
I do some grading, Pokemon cards, basketball cards, and I've got a bunch of PSA cards waiting for me back in Chicago. And then I've done a little bit of VHS tapes and some toys too. But with the toys, I sent a bunch of Batman toys off, and I ended up just getting them too late after the movie was released, because it just took, I think it's AFA. It took them too long to grade them, but just a little bit. But as soon as I get those graded, I list those. I don't wait. I don't wait. Yeah, I just list those right away as soon as I get those back. So
I am an everything store. 80% of my business is just selling anything I can make money on, but 20% of my business, from 25% of my business, is actually high-end collectibles or high-end graded items. So I grade everything from comic books to sports cards to Pokemon to VHS to video games. So, for example, when the Mario movie was coming out, there was a big boom with all the Mario games. So you want to keep an eye on this. So I recommend, if you're an everything reseller, I highly recommend that you follow Hollywood News, or you have one of the websites that gives you daily information about what's coming up, because it will help you in the long run, especially to let you know, it keeps it fresh in your mind what to look for when you're out and about, because you may pass up items not thinking about it, and then now they're coming out a year later, and that you missed out on buying items for cents on a dollar, and now the item are skyrocketing. Like Indiana Jones is really popular now because the movie just came out. Transformers are really popular right now because the movie just came out. A lot of people don't know this, about Robert Kirkman, the guy who made The Walking Dead, is creating a new multi-universe, which is going to have Transformers and G.I. Joe in there together, and they're creating other things. So keep that in mind. You're going to start seeing a lot of these things in the future, and these are things you want to look out for.
Good to know. Cactus Blossom wants to know how we edit our videos. So I would assume, like, what program are you using to edit?
I use Filmora. I got grandfathered in way back when it was like Fillmore 8 so that I get every single update for free. I really like the program, but I think it's a little more expensive now. But if you're looking for a beginner to intermediate editing software, I really like that one.
I edit everything from my phone right now, and I know I need to transition into the desktop. I use I use KindMaster, and then I use a little bit of TikTok and Instagram too. But I would recommend CapCut to use.
So for my YouTube videos, I do use a desktop, and I'm using my MacBook, and I'm using iMovie. I'm actually going to upgrade that probably to Final Cut Pro, which is like the Final Cut Pro is the same company that made the iMovie. So it's the, a lot of high-end movie editors do use that. I use CapCut as well for making shorts. But I mean, and here's the thing, you don't need a computer. You can just use your phone. There's people that have hundreds of thousands of followers or subscribers on YouTube that just use their phone only, don't have an editor, and edit everything from the phone. I know Kat edits everything from her phone as well. So
I do. So I edit 100% for my phone. Kevin, actually, Commonwealth Picker, said the same thing when we were on our panel. He edits everything from his phone. I bought an expensive gaming laptop with the intention of using it to edit, and I don't like it. I like using my phone, so I use my phone. I think KindMaster is available on the iPhone, and CapCut I tried using for shorts before I decided I'm too long-winded for shorts, and I don't really do shorts anymore. But CapCut is what Carrie, American Arbitrage, which he has hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok. Carrie uses CapCut, and I don't know if he still does. He used to. Hi, Sunny. I was waving at Sunny. So yeah, I would say either CapCut or KindMaster. It's KINEMASTER. I do pay to get the watermark off of there, but it's pretty easy. And if you watch my videos, I'm not a heavy editor. I'm not a fancy editor. I'm just trying to get the information out there. I do, like screenshots and stuff like that, but that's pretty basic. I wouldn't have said that 3 years ago, and I was trying to figure it out. I was like, but there's videos on YouTube on all of this for all these programs, whichever one you decide on. Watch tutorials. YouTube's a great place to learn about everything. I've learned that, it's
Carrie, American Arbitrage, told me last year at FlipCon that he uses InShot for shorts. So if you're looking for, and that's free, that's a really good one as well.
Who uses CapCut? I swear it was Carrie. Maybe he uses both. I don't know. Whatever it was, I didn't like it.
You mentioned Commonwealth Picker, and on this channel, we do help a lot of people grow. If you guys aren't subscribed to his channel, go subscribe to his channel. He's less than 600 subs away.
Oh yeah, he's close to 100,000. Yeah.
So I'll post his link in the chat here. Go sub to his channel. Tell him that the Nurse Flipper and Picking and Punching.
Tell him the Nurse Flipper said to kiss her butt. Do it.
But
I love Kevin.
Yeah, he's only about 600 away. So go sub to him if you guys haven't. So this helps support the community.
Oh, Sunny uses CapCut. So maybe I was thinking of Sunny. Sunny uses CapCut and Carrie likes InShot. And Mark paid a $10 late fee, $9.99. $10. He had to spend some time with his family. Family always comes first, guys. Oh, yes, guys, too. And then I'll get back to Mark's super chat. Tiffany Thrifting Vegas is a very good friend of ours as well, and she is also very close to 100,000. So both of those, Tiffany Thrifting Vegas and the Commonwealth Picker, definitely show them some support. I've known both of them and been friends with them for years, and it's amazing. Super excited. They're almost to 100K, so definitely show them some love. All right, let me give Mark a super chat. A what? Huh?
I said it looks like Tiffany's only less than 1,000 away.
Yes. Yeah, both of them are super close. All right, Mark, here you go. Thank you for your tonight it's an absentee fee. Maybe that's why it's 10 instead of 5. He just wasn't here. All right, here you go, Mark.
Cute.
Yeah, Sonny is super close. He's like 5 away from 100K. So close. So close.
Me too.
Jamie wants to know, do you need to have a business license to have a logo? I've applied for my business license in Canada 2 years ago, and I'm still waiting.
I do not know, but you don't have to have a business license to have a logo. But I don't know anything. I know business licenses are different for every state in the States, and I'm sure they're in Florida. It's literally you pay a fee and there's your business license. It's that simple. So, but a logo has nothing to do with that. At least in the States, I can't imagine Canada's any different.
I just have a picture of me as a logo. So I don't know the answer to this question about a business license.
So Canada has different laws than the U.S., but I mean you don't need a logo in the U.S. to, for a business license. I highly recommend.
Vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa. So I mean the biggest thing is if you're serious about this and you want to build a brand, you need a logo regardless. And you can either make one in Canva or hire someone to do it. You can literally get someone for $50 to make you a logo or less. It's well worth the money.
Yeah. I can't see that you would need a business license to have a logo because that's just like you. Now, whether you sell under that name would be a different story. What I would say, and I'm not familiar with Canada, maybe if some of our Canadian friends in the chat, I know we have quite a few of you, let us know, because if it was me and I'd been waiting 2 years, I would be contacting them or going in person. And hoping that my application didn't get lost or something. So I would follow up on it. I don't know if you have or not, but definitely try and follow up on it. I'd flip that as asking if any of us have heard of the Juice Fund. They donate money to you and ask for advertising plus a % off of your ad fees. We are not monetized, so not sure why they want our no dollars coming in.
I have heard of the Juice Fund, but I'm always like, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I haven't looked into getting money from them, but that doesn't sound like they're donating if they're getting part of your ad revenue. I don't know that I would want my business tied in with another company. Then you have to answer to them and, but that's just my personal opinion.
Hi, Joe and Nicole. I know you guys are pretty close to getting monetized, at least with the 500 subs, and then I think you guys say you're 1,000 hours away. I wouldn't. I've never heard of the Juice Fund, but I would not go with them. I guess I was thinking they were a sponsor, but to take a percentage of the ad and plus, I would not go with them.
So they actually reached out to me, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they give you upfront money in return for a percentage of your channel monetization. So it's almost like getting a loan up front in a way, and then they take a percentage of it and makes money on the backside. But then I think over time, as you grow, so they want you to grow as you grow, they're banking on you, making more money in there. So I think it's really kind of a blanket email they're sending out to a lot of resellers or maybe people in our niche right now. And once you apply, they're going to see what they would do based off your channel. So just be very careful on that. It takes years to build your brand, but it only takes minutes to destroy it. And it's very important. So don't be caught up in a lot of sponsorships. Don't be caught up in a lot of things. Make sure that you test the products. Make sure it's for you. And that's the biggest and most important thing I can, tell a lot of you guys out there.
Yeah, there are several of them that do that. I will say I personally have not done any of those. I will also say I personally do know people who have. And the thing is, a lot of times, and I don't know why they would contact you if you're not monetized. So like for me, they would say, we'll buy the revenue to all of your old videos. Let's say $10,000. Okay. But here's the thing that I have learned in my years of YouTube. Most of my virals are on my old videos. So that means I would be giving them that, and they might be worth a hell of a lot more. And I just signed it over to them. So I would not, if it was me, just from seeing like my teacups. I have a couple, like teacups are almost at 500,000 views. I have a jewelry one over 300,000, and both of those did not hit right away. They did not hit. So if I had signed that over, I'm not ready to tell you how much, but I will tell you I've made thousands of dollars off of that one video. I would have lost all that and probably taken a really smaller percent. What I will say to those of you that are not yet monetized on YouTube, and I think it's super important, and Rod said, you know, don't take a ton of sponsorships. I agree 100%. If you're not using it, don't push it because somebody's paying you. Okay. Now, I like Temu. Oh my, I think Temu's contacting everybody. And I use Temu, but I have not taken that because I use Temu for my crafts. Now, I have thought about once I switch my other channel, contacting them because I do use them. I use them. I love them. They're who I get most of my molds from for resin. But on this channel, I'm not buying stuff from them for resale. So monetize your channel though. Like List Perfectly has an amazing affiliate program. Joel at American Bubble Boy is another that, like, I know these owners. I personally interact with them. I've had affiliates with them a long time. The products you use, Amazon affiliates. You can have Amazon affiliates and no subscribers. I told my hairdresser she should get them. Like, if you're recommending a blow dryer to somebody, why not get 2% of that? It adds up. It all really does add up. You can get eBay affiliates. If you're sharing out your eBay store, get an eBay affiliate, get 2% of that. There's a lot of ways you can monetize YouTube without YouTube paying you. And you can do it with 10 subscribers. You know, so monetize yourself, but don't over monetize yourself. Don't do stuff that you're not using and that isn't applicable to your audience because they're not going to appreciate it. Everything like I'm 100% genuine.
And it's okay to say no. It's okay to turn stuff down. Like I turned down Whatnot. I've turned down other companies as well because it just didn't fit my business model at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I was contracted with Whatnot for a while and then we both decided to part ways. It just wasn't working. I do what I want and, you know, and read everything. I would caution you, read everything that you are signing. Because like some of the agreements were like, oh, you have to send your videos 4 days before and approve it. No, nobody's approving my videos but me. I've gotten contracts changed. Like, yeah. Like that's not part of this. So make sure you read everything, guys. But you can monetize without having a lot of subscribers. Just keep that in mind. Jessica sent 10. Look, everybody's sending $10. It's double super chat night. She forgot her $5 last week. She said, excellent panel tonight. Great viewer questions as well. Jessica started doing resin with me too. So Jessica and Dagny, Flying Pig Thrifts, are my two resin buddies. Once I make that channel, I'm going to like pull more of you to the resin dark side because it's so fun. All right. Anyways, let's give Jessica, what am I going to give you? Let's do this one. Here you go. God and I keep clicking every time at the same time. Like we're here every time we click it at the same time. Thank you, Jessica. Let's see. This is a really good question, and I'm interested to hear everybody else's response. Goonie Treasure says, do you use words like beautiful, amazing, fantastic in your listings, or do you prefer to stick to the basics? Since some people might think the item you're selling is but ugly.
No, I don't use any of those words. I try to be very descriptive. That's going to tell either a style or adjectives that actually someone will search for. I don't think anyone's searching for amazing when they're looking for an item. So, you know, vintage. I also don't use the word rare unless something is actually rare because I think that is so overused. But vintage is a word I use, but I really try to do either a style or very descriptive adjectives for an item rather than just generalized opinionated things like beautiful.
I don't use those words. I sell a lot of electronics and these things are not beautiful. The only words that I would use that would be even close to that. I keep it simple, just new or just the condition of the item. But I don't want to waste characters with using words like beautiful or amazing. I don't use those.
First and foremost, can we talk about the username, the Goonies Treasures? And anyone else see that? That is an awesome name. I just want to go, hey, you guys. All right. Now that's done. When it comes to, I wouldn't use any of those in my description of your title, because those keywords are very key. I can see you using in your maybe your description, just not your title. But at the same point in time is you don't want to. Everyone has different definitions of beautiful, or fantastic, very good, excellent condition. So you don't want to use any of those as a cause of red flag or set yourself up for a potential return or an upset customer. So I try to keep things very basic in my descriptions, stick to the key facts, so there's nothing that can be open for debate or discussion.
So anybody that watches me, especially if you are in my membership, when I do store reviews, Marcia just said it, and I bet they would sound exactly like me. Nobody uses those words to search. You are wasting precious real estate by putting those, because nobody's going to search for beautiful, amazing, or fantastic or pretty. Like, they're just not. And so I think it is a waste of keyword space, and I don't use them. And yeah, you need to put like your basics, like everybody said. And now I will tell you one keyword to add to most of your listings, if it applies, is gift. Because somebody might be searching for a gift for their mom. I will put mom gift. I will put dad gift. If I've like used all the words I can think of, gift goes in that title. And I think it was actually one of my viewers that kind of put that into my head. We learn as much from you guys as you learn from us. So
it's a good follow-up question.
I use new in box sometimes. I don't use hard to find. Angie, what about you?
NWT for new with tags, or new, like if an item is new without tags, but I never use hard to find or anything like that. I just vintage, VTG, because it will actually come up if someone writes vintage or they write VTG. That's a great one to use interchangeable. But other than that, I don't really use any of those.
Not in the title. I put some of that stuff in the description, but never in the title. When I first started, I thought it was the right way, but no, not anymore.
So I will add some of these to the title because they do help out, especially if it comes down to a specific category that you're selling in. For example, like video games, if you put CIB, that means complete in box. So instead of writing with manual, CIB is the under an action figure category. If you put MOC, mint on card. So those things people do search, and those things can add.
I would have no clue.
Yeah.
I'd never even heard of that before.
Yeah, so those are specific for those categories, though. So if you don't sell in those categories, I can make sense. You may not heard it, but if you go into the toy category or the video game category, you'll see CIB or you see MOC on those, and those are just little things. I mean, I've been selling those categories for 20 plus years, but they are things that just kind of a way to shorten it to try to get more keywords in your actual title that people are looking for.
Yeah, and Rod, I want to bring up, since he knows all those, if you find stuff like he knows it and you're finding those things and you're seeing them a lot, Google it. I guarantee you it's out there on Google. Because like Rod said, the people that buy that stuff are searching it. So if you see it coming up when you're going to sell similar, I do use new old stock as well. I do that one.
Also, if we're talking about this, everybody in the chat, put down any acronyms that you guys do know that could be beneficial that you guys may use in your eBay listings. So this way we can share it with everybody.
Yes. All right. Tiger Allen Pride wants to know, how do you do a YouTube auction? I'll let Angie answer this because I think she's probably done more than all of us.
YouTube auction is the same as essentially like Whatnot. You set it up where I sell everything in a live. I invoice via PayPal the next day and include shipping into that, and then I ship the items once they're paid. Basically, though, if you don't have a following, it's a matter of building up a following to get people sending messages, like reminding people when you're having your auction. Previews of the items that you have is a great way for people to like see the kind of things you have. Same as if you were doing a Whatnot. But I like the YouTube auction in that I could sell a huge variety of items, whereas Whatnot, it seems you do better if you're selling like jewelry or clothing or plush in one auction, where I could sell a ton of things. But it is an astronomical amount of work if you sell a large quantity of items, because unlike Whatnot, I have to invoice and I have to weigh everything and then get the shipping amount and then invoice and all that kind of stuff. So it takes a lot more time on the back end than a Whatnot sale. So that's why I've kind of been swaying towards a Whatnot, because it, at the end when it's over, it's an hour of my time versus it could be upwards of like 7 or 8 hours to finalize an auction when I'm selling like 100 to 150 items. So, but yeah, it's definitely doable. There's actually a really big community on YouTube of auctions that they have their whole community. They have them every single day. And I know that Johnny Cajun Roots Reseller, he has an actual calendar. You can go to his site and look it up. That will tell you when everyone's auction is for the whole week that he knows of. So it's actually pretty interesting.
I'm pretty new to YouTube.
Oh, go ahead.
I've never done an auction before. No, I'm new to no auction yet for me.
So don't just limit yourself to YouTube. They actually also do the same thing on Instagram Live and Facebook Lives as well. So if you can build up, so if you don't have a YouTube audience, but you do have a big following on Instagram or Facebook, those are other platforms. All you do is just go live, same concept as YouTube. You're still going to send your own invoice and stuff like that. But I still a lot of those back in the day on IG with like video games and other categories. So.
Yeah, and I used to do one a month with Yvonne Thrifty Rich, and for the exact reason Angie mentioned, I quit because I would rather pay Whatnot 12% than have to message people, wait, see if they would pay. If they don't pay, then I have to bug them. Where on Whatnot, it comes off your card and you ship it out. So, and I agree. If you don't have to have a big following though. I've seen some like impressively successful YouTube auctions with low subscriber counts. So it is a lot more work on your end. You are physically having to do a lot more work. Do you guys mind going a few minutes late?
No,
we only have 5 more questions. You good? Okay. Kristen asked me, she said her daughter has her CNA, working for her RN, doing posh on the side. She sees the money but wants a degree. Advice for her. So my daughter is in nursing school right now. I will tell you, one of the things that drew me to nursing was the money. Just 100% hands down, the money and the job demand. I'm older. I feel like for younger people, it wouldn't be as stressful because I'm like, I'm at that point. My daughter wants to do travel nursing, which you can start out at like $100K plus a year. And for a 22-year-old, that's a damn good income. If she's doing her CNA and using it, she has some idea of at least what she, is getting herself into. It can be stressful. You have people's lives in your hands. You have to make decisions. So if somebody's going in it only for the money, I think they'll end up hating it. I also love taking care of people. I was on the fence between respiratory and nursing. I chose nursing because the job demand was a lot higher versus respiratory. That was pre-COVID. I bet you now respiratory's right up there. But there were like 2 respiratory job openings and 50 nursing when I started school. And that's what made me switch, because I actually was enrolled for respiratory. Same thing with my daughter. And I convinced my daughter to go to nursing school before I got fed up with it, before I quit. So my outlook on it is a little bit different now than it was, say, 5 years ago. So it's stressful, but as long as she likes taking care of people, there's tons of money to be made. But I think you can't be doing it just for the money. You really have to love taking care of people. And there are so many avenues too. And that's what my daughter always says. Well, you could have done something different. Like I could have went to school nursing, which does not make money, by the way. School nurses don't make crap. But there are a lot of options. A couple people have commented on my videos, like they're doing chart audits now instead of being in the stressful, patient situations. But I think everybody will find their thing eventually, and it might not be nursing. It might not be. The school is like Brooks. I don't think my daughter expected, like, nursing school is no joke. It is no joke. Like, it's pretty intense. So yeah, I don't know if that helped or I talk circles, but yeah. I don't know. Lucinda said, is there an easy way to learn pirate ship? Can I use it at home? I'm just going to grab this so we can try and get through these. You don't have to learn pirate ship. You just sign in, put the weight, put the buyer's address, and print it off. And you can print scan forms on pirate ship, which is the nice thing. You can go to end of day and print a scan form, and you can link your eBay if you're also shipping your eBay from there. So there really is nothing to learn. It is very, very easy to use.
Super easy.
Super easy.
Rod or Segun, do either one of you know this? Because I do not. Do you know how they can access the List Perfectly sessions from Camp Listing Party?
So you have a year to access those. I think it might be in the Hoover app. So I think you have to have the Hoover app. You need to go in there, and then I think you have up to a year to access those. But I mean,
So
worst case
check
scenario,
Hoover.
yeah, Hoover.
Check Hoover.
If not, just send them an email. Their customer service is outstanding, and they'll get back to you probably within an hour or two. So
Yeah, they're fast. Patricia wants to know, do we think it's worth it to put together a Christmas and July sale?
I think so. I think people love that. Christmas sells for me all year long, and it's a good excuse for people to come in, like, on Whatnot, to spend money, and they like get excited about the holidays, especially like think about how hot it is this time of year and stuff, where some people don't want to go outside. So like the idea of, oh, the holidays coming up, and I think you would do really well with it because it's now kind of like a thing that people do. I actually plan on having 2 Christmas and July sales on Whatnot, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, like what Angie said, people love Christmas, and you're going to have a little competition. There's not going to be a lot of Whatnot sales for Christmas, so it is a good idea. I would go with it.
Yeah.
So not just Christmas, but all holidays items sell all year round, especially Christmas and Halloween are the top 2 that sell all year round. So I highly recommend it. People like big events. People like, specials. So if you can make this event, put it on all your social media accounts and make this an annual thing, it's going to bring people to your store. It's going to help boost up your sales and other aspects of things and get all your items extra looks on it. So, I mean, I highly recommend it. Anything you do to increase sales, go for it.
Yeah, and I'm really bad about like putting together theme sales, and I get asked to be in like the trains on Whatnot all the time, and I actually decline because I just grab whatever the heck it is and I sell it. The only thing I've separated out is sterling for a couple of shows. I don't even always separate that out. But I think it is worth it for most people. Like for me, I'm just grab and go. And yeah, I put together Christmas stuff and I don't know where I put it. If I could find it, I probably would run one. But I do think I've noticed, and I've talked about this a couple times on Whatnot, when I do my specialty shows, like Thursday, we're doing silver plated gemstone. I get way less people in the chat, but I have more buyers, if that makes sense. So when I do like my variety, I get a lot of people, but there might not be a lot of buyers, where it's less people, like when I did postcards or scarves, but I had the buyers still. And my resin show, same thing, because they're coming for that reason. And most of the time they're there to buy, not just like see what the heck Cat found this time, which is why I get more people in my variety shows, but I don't get more sales. I don't get more sales from it.
Yep.
Last question, guys. Last question, and then I will let everybody tell you good night, let you know what they have going on. Do you recommend a business course that would help someone understand the business side of reselling or business in general?
No, honestly, unless personally, I feel that if you're looking for help in reselling, there is so much free advice out there that you don't necessarily have to buy a course. Now, if you want a crash course and someone offers one, so you could get all the information you need at one time, sure, you can do that. But if you go to someone like Scott Cha-Ching King, his YouTube channel, he has free advice out there. So if you're looking to do something specific, do your first listing on eBay, how to source for different things. Everybody has like so much information out there. It's available to you for free. I mean, Kat has so much great knowledge about everything that you can just search her channel and find practically anything that you need to find. But, you know, some people like that instant gratification of feeling like they're learning a lot in one point. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there offering things, but I'm all about free knowledge is the best knowledge. So take advantage of that first before you do something. But if you get a chance to meet up with other resellers, definitely do that, because you'll be inspired by everyone else's story and it will make you want to resell more.
Yeah, I would wait on getting that business course. And like Angie said, there's so much free information on YouTube right now. And if you don't have the patience to watch a 10 or 15 or 20-minute video, there's stuff on Instagram and TikTok. Maybe if you like reading, there's free stuff on Reddit. So I will wait until you get a foot in the door, get an understanding of how reselling works, and then maybe in the future buy a business course if you're not happy with what's happening with your results.
So I'm going to go a little different round this one. Knowledge is power. And what I mean by that is, if you want to buy a course, just remember a course is a curated list of a bunch of videos, everything put in one special place for you. Okay, I don't offer that. I don't have that for me. There's a lot of people that do offer that. If you do buy a course, make sure it's from someone that is reliable, someone that has a good reputation, because there's a lot of courses that are just cash grabs. Yeah. Now, with that being said, just like Angie said, you can go on YouTube and you can find any information that you want to do. So if you're going to start with buying any type of course, I would do something on accounting first, because that's the biggest error that a lot of people in reselling mess up on. Or getting a good accountant, talking, going that route. If you know the business side of what you have to do with your numbers, everything else is going to fall in place. Coming to shows like this every Tuesday night, we sit here for 2 hours and answer everyone's reselling questions. We're gonna answer a lot of your questions. Turn on to Angie's. They have a podcast they do. It's great. They do one too. The Reselling Information Network does one Tuesday mornings as well. There's a lot of good places out there you can get into chats and actually ask people questions. That's going to help you a lot more, because you're interacting with people, you're starting to network with people, and you're starting to get a better understanding of how other resellers do things. If you sit here every Tuesday night, you'll see all four of us will have different answers, but they're not wrong. We just do things different ways because it works best for our business. So you have to find what's best for you, but Google and YouTube are going to be your best searches. How to put in reselling question. How to put in reselling question. It's going to answer all of your questions, and you're going to find people on YouTube that have a style that works best for you and that you're going to learn best from. So that is your best route to go. But I highly recommend maybe taking something in an accounting or reselling accounting, like My Resell Genie or something along those lines. It's going to help.
Justin has a really good course. My Flipping Accountant.
My Flipping Accountant.
You can use the Nurse Flipper code and get $50 off if you do want to do the Flipping Accountant's course, and it is amazing. I'm going to interpret this a little bit differently, and I'm going to go with Rod on this one and say, I would, if you don't know general business stuff, I'm not looking this as business reselling, because yes, there are a ton of us out here doing it. I also I do have some like webinars that I sell, not on this though. So I would say, I think like a community college business course to give yourself business foundation if you have never run your own business would be a great investment into yourself. Like, I just went to auctioneer school, and some of the stuff they taught us about like advertising and marketing, I would have never learned it and I paid $1,300 for that course. Not course, it's a college, it's accredited. So I think I am pretty sure community colleges would offer like a small business course that you could go to, not even like get outside of like the whole reseller YouTube, we make a course thing, get out of that, go to a college and get that general foundation. As far as reselling, again, my flipping accountant, Justin, is amazing. His course is expensive. It's $350. Again, $50 off the nurse flipper for your coupon code. Yeah, I'm a YouTuber.
Wait, what was that coupon code? I didn't
It's
hear
the
it.
same everywhere, except Teresa made me change it to Cat Nurse for Boss. It's the nurse flipper everywhere but for Boss Reseller. I'm Cat Nurse there. So I took his and I learned a lot. Even though I pay an accountant, I think it's good to know that information of what is going on the accountant side of it to make you think a little bit more. Yeah, yes. So there are a lot of online college courses, and I'm looking at her asking about the business side of it, like general business, forget it's reselling, like your fundamental I probably could use a fundamentals. Like, we can all keep learning. Like, if you vet the courses you take, it is money well invested into your business and yourself. Yes, you can find it all for free, but it might take you 100 hours and you pay somebody and you get it in 2. They took the time to put that together. I have not taken the time because it's a lot of time. I have not taken the time to put a course together because it's so much time. But it can be worth it if you don't have unlimited time to go search for everything. And it's worth it to invest in yourself. Like, I might get my real estate. Like, I had fun going to auctioneer school. Like, you're learning stuff. I forgot. I love learning stuff. So I think stuff like that could be a great, great thing. I'm going to put up this super chat and then I will let everybody say bye and I will stop rambling because I'm very hot and would like to get into my air conditioned house. Jamie sent a $2.79 Canadian super chat and said, thanks for answering my question. You're very welcome. I'm going to give you a dolphin, much to very few people's dislike. Here you go. Oh no, I'm going to give you the beach.
He's so cute.
He's so dramatic.
Kat, if we give super chats next week, would you do your auctioneer voice?
Oh, you know what's so weird? So I haven't been able to sit for my state exam, and like now it's been so long since I've been out of school. I mean, I could try. Not tonight.
We'll see it for next week.
I need AC. But I'm going to have to do all that over. Florida's really weird. So you apply and then you have to wait 60 days before you can take your state board.
Huh.
So I'm going to have forgotten all this crap and have to go back and study it all over again.
Your 60 days have to come up soon, right?
No, so the school didn't send my cert. So Florida is a jacked up state that I have to send something to the school with me signing it. The school signs it. They send it back to the state and they sent it late. So I don't even think it's been a month. So I have a ways and I'm going to have forgotten. You know how you don't use it, you lose it?
Yep.
Yeah, that kind of thing. All right, guys. Thank you all for hanging out with us this long. I'm going to let Angie and Segun tell you guys bye and what they've got going on. And then Rod and myself will do so as well. So here is Miss Angie.
Thank you again, Kat, for having me on. Again, I am Angie Resells. I would love for you to come over and join on my channel. I am a full-time reseller. I was an accountant in a prior life, so I actually have some videos with helpful tips on that in case you're looking for that. I am one half of the Let's Do Lunch podcast, and Kristen and I are super excited that we're actually going to be speakers at Boss Reseller Remix this year. So would love for you to share in the journey with us with that. Let's Do Lunch podcast comes on every Friday at noon Central. We have our own channel, Let's Do Lunch podcast. And then Tuesdays, we do live listing every single Tuesday from 1 to 3 Central, where we want you to come in and get some work done with us, hopefully get at least 10 items listed. So we have a great time. You never know what we're going to talk about, but we want to kind of be there with kind of treat it like we're co-workers and hang out and just enjoy each other's company while we're getting some work done. So would love to have you join me. Come on over and say hi and make sure you let me know that you saw me on Kat's channel. Appreciate it, everyone.
Perfect. Here's Segun.
Thanks again, Kat, for bringing me in. It was pretty cool meeting you last week at the camp listing party. If you're interested in seeing a recap, I just put up a video about that. And I do travel a lot, like I said earlier, a little bit international. So you can see me sourcing, and I like sourcing live. So every Sunday I have live events. So please come check me out. Thanks, guys. Hopefully you have a nice the rest of your night.
Perfect. Yeah, I forgot. Those of you on the West Coast didn't miss fireworks for me. You can still go see them. They're done here. They're done. Do you guys see my scrunchie? Listen, Brad said I was foo-foo. I ordered this scrunchie off Etsy from Sweden. It's a scrunchie from Sweden. It was not that expensive because I had the same scrunchie I used for 2 years before. And I'm like, I'm going to get a foo-foo scrunchie. And it matches Scott's shirt. Perfect, actually. All right, Rod, what's going on?
So you guys can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, at Picking and Punching. Any questions we don't answer tonight, or if you guys think of anything after we get off the air, feel free to message me. I do respond to every single question that comes through. You can follow me on Whatnot, also Picking and Punching. And I just dropped a brand new video today called The Garage Sale Nightmare, where I went to a garage sale and it was the weirdest negotiation ever. Every time I got a price, the price kept going up, not down. And I'm talking hundreds of dollars. So you guys want to see what happened? Check out that video right now. And subscribe to the channel. I'm about 150 away from hitting 7,000. So
Nice, Rod.
Yep.
Perfect. I hopefully will launch my resin channel this week once I decide on a name. And we will be live tomorrow night as well. Tomorrow is vintage and estate jewelry. Somebody asked earlier, that is all catalog. If you would like to go see what we're selling tomorrow night, you can put pre-bids if you can't make it. And then Thursday is going to be sterling gemstone or silver plated gemstone. Friday is my resin. So we're live on Whatnot 5 nights a week. I'm always on Whatnot. And then Thursday will be a video on what I sold while I was on, I say vacation, but it was kind of a working vacation in Phoenix. $20 and over. So it's we had some really, really high sales while we were gone. So I'm going to share those with you on Thursday. Definitely check all these guys out. Thank you guys for coming. Let me see who's coming on. Oh, next week is Mikey Bags of Money and Scott Chachinkin.
Yay! Oh my gosh, that's going to be great.
So excited. So we will have Mikey and Scott with us next week. We appreciate you guys coming out. We are here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We will see you guys next week. I have no fancy intro or outro this week. So bye, guys.
Bye.